Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is John William Templeton, a noted historian right here in California. John, you created something known as the California African American Freedom Trail. What is that about?
Well, in 1991, I was covering the Rodney King beating and disturbances, and I discovered that the San Fernando Valley had been owned by a black millionaire, and that the Pico brothers had been the last two Mexican governors of California. So I never heard anything like that, black people being governors of a state. So I talked to Ray Talaferro, and
I remember Ray.
He said, well, the whole damn state's named after a black woman. And I said, what? So I went to the Mark Hopkins Hotel and got the reproduction rights for the murals of Queen Calafia. And I did a 4-volume Our Roots Run Deep, The Black Experience in California, 1,400 pages on the history of African Americans in California. And practically everything in there is something that is just completely beyond people's comprehension.
So California has a very rich history of African Americans?
It is named for a black woman.
Who was that black woman?
She was a fictional character based on a real life character in a 1510 novel called La Serge de Esplandian. California is first used to describe an island where gold was the only metal, pearls were as numerous as rocks. And it was only populated by black women who were considered the most beautiful in the world.
And they are, right?
And so when I read this, I'm saying, wait a minute. If that's how the Europeans felt about black people in the 1500s, where did slavery and racism, all this other stuff come from? So it's been a fascinating way to sort of unpack much larger sociological issues. And what we found was that the only way to really teach this was actually take people to the sites. So we started doing tours. And in the first book...
Were these tours in any particular section of California?
We did them in Los Angeles. We did them in San Francisco. We did them in Sacramento. I did the first Black History exhibit in the historic state capitol. So we've done them all over the state, and we cover all 58 counties. So eventually we mapped 6,000 sites and got the GPS and all the information that we needed for National Register nominations, and I presented it in 2013 to the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco, in 2015 to the State Historical Resources Commission, and in 2017 to the American Historical Association. So we use it as an educational tool, but also as a preservation tool. So this is the most extensive mapping of Black history in any state.
Now, is there something written on that?
Yeah, well, you can go to my book, Our Roots Run Deep, The Black Experience in California.
And that would be on your... Do you have a website?
Yes, it's CaliforniaBlackHistory.com.
California
Black History.
BlackHistory.com.
Yes.
Now, you know a lot about California Black businesses,
yes.
Black businesses across the nation. I understand that there are approximately 4 million Black people are employed in Black businesses.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, there are 3 million owners, and they employ
3 million owners,
and they employ another 1 million folks. So Fred Jordan and I, another mutual friend, started National Black Business Month in 2004 when he was chair of the National Black Chamber, and he came to me and said, well, we don't have any data. And I guess by then I developed a reputation as somebody who could collect data. So the government under the Bush administration stopped doing the census of black businesses. So I had to use Social Security data.
And you were able to get
And I was able to figure
okay.
out how many black businesses there were by state and by sex and that sort of thing by using the Social Security data, because they have to calculate how many self-employed there are. So from that, we started doing the State of Black Business every year. And every August, we take 31 days and we do 31 different programs for different industries to show the wide scope of what black people are in, because your typical black business has more experience, more education than the normal black business, and that's completely contrary to the stereotypes.
So black businesses are very much a part of the economy of this nation. Is that
well, not only
roughly
that,
correct?
but we would not exist as a country without black-owned business. First office of the federal government was in Francis Tavern, which is the oldest building in New York City. That was a black gentleman from Barbados who was George Washington's cook during the Revolutionary War. And they used his building to actually have the first offices of the War Department and the State Department.
Well, I tell you that's very important, especially statement. We would not exist were there not for black-owned businesses.
That's right.
And I think it's important for everybody to understand that. We got to go to break, so don't touch that remote. Just put it down. We will be right back with All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris. I am your guest. I am your host, and my guest is John William Temple.